Thank you very much. Hello. I wear a hearing aid and I can't hear you. Hello. That's better. What a wonderful, wonderful privilege. What a wonderful joy to be here with all of you tonight. Thank you very much for inviting me to share in this very great occasion. I think you are neat. Don't you think? On one occasion I was visiting San Francisco and a lady rushed up to greet me. And she did so very warmly and said, "Hello, Archbishop Mandela." I thought she wanted 2 for the price of 1. I come from South Africa. A country that for many, many, many years was thought to go and end in catastrophe. Everybody predicted that this country was going to be overwhelmed by the most awful bloodbath. And we were in a real pickle. I don't know whether you heard the story of the man who was driving his car on a mountain road. The car went over the cliff. The man was thrown clear, mercifully, and managed to cling to a somewhat flimsy twig. He held on for dear life and hollered, "Help! Is there anyone up there?" And the boy said, "Yes, my son. Do you trust me?" "Yes." "Let go of the twig, and before you dash your head on the rocks below, I will catch you." Silence. Is there anyone else up there? Many times we felt like yelling ourselves, "Is there anyone else up there?" For our country was being consumed by the most awful violence. And then, the world saw a miracle unfold before their very eyes. The world saw those long lines of South Africans of all races in 1994, snaking their way slowly to the polling booths. The transition from repression to freedom. The transition from injustice to democracy. Quite extraordinary had happened remarkably peacefully. And then the prophets of doom said, just you wait until a black-led government is in power. Then there is no doubt at all. These blacks are going to engage in an orgy of retribution and revenge. They are going to pay back for all those many years of exploitation and humiliation that they had suffered at the hands of whites. Just you wait. It didn't happen. Instead, the world was awed to watch the Truth and Reconciliation process. When people, some having committed the most awful, the most gruesome atrocities, came forward to tell the truth about those atrocities. And if they told the whole truth, then they were given amnesty, and they were forgiven. The world watched and listened to stories by victims who had suffered grievously. The world wept as they wept. The retribution, the revenge, these didn't happen. Instead, South Africans extraordinarily chose the path of forgiveness, of reconciliation. Why did the catastrophe not overwhelm us? Why did the bloodbath not happen? How come these people behaved in this extraordinary fashion? I will tell you one particular and important reason. We were prayed for. We were prayed for. People around the world in this country cared so much about our struggle against the injustice of apartheid. People were deeply committed, and especially young people. I used to come to this country and visit college and university campuses, and my heart leapt. The cockles of my heart were warmed. I don't know what cockles are, but I mean, whatever they are, they were warmed. Because those young people, at a time when they ought to have been worrying about their degrees, about grades and things of that kind, were doing nothing of the sort. They were there in demonstrations. They were there seeking to persuade their institutions to divest. People were ready to be arrested on our behalf. We won a great victory against the awfulness of apartheid. We won a spectacular victory. But that victory would have been totally impossible without the support that we got from the international community, without the support that we got from such as yourselves. Our victory, therefore, in a very real sense, is your victory. It's the victory of the international community. And one of the great privileges I have is being able to come back to those from whom we asked for help, to say to them, you know, we asked for help, you gave the help, and look at us now. We are free. Look at us now. Look at us now. And I come on behalf of millions and millions and millions and millions to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. No. You know, when yesterday you had shackles binding you, and you meet the person or the persons who help to remove those shackles, you don't let them, lackadaisically like that. You really give them a humdinger. So I discovered something. I discovered that I had a magic wand. And when I wave it over people like yourselves, and I know, you Americans are very shy. You are very reserved. And so I will wave my wand over you. I wave it, and it turns you into instant South Africans. And so I say, fellow South Africans, that man is Americans and getting with them. Thank you. Now I've got to be careful and remember, I will wave my wand and I wave it over you, and you return to your former shy, reserved self. But it is important for you to know that thank you is heartfelt. It is a thank you that comes on behalf of, for instance, that young woman who came to the TRC to tell of how the police detained her. They took her into a room. They undressed me, she said. They opened a drawer and they shoved my breast into the drawer, and they slammed the drawer several times on my nipple until a white stuff oozed. I come to say thank you on behalf of the mothers of those young kids who were given booby-trapped hand grenades by the security police, and they were blown to smithereens. I come on behalf of all of us to say thank you, thank you. And so I tell you of the fact that we had a wonderful example. For at that time, that critical time in the life of our country, God gave us a Nelson Mandela. Who has spent 27 years in jail. And everyone expected that he would be consumed by bitterness and anger and hatred and would wish for revenge, paying for the blood of those who had tormented him and his people. Instead, he came out and amazed the world with the magnanimity of his spirit, his generosity, the nobility that was ready to forgive those who had done him such a great wrong. When he was inaugurated as president, he invited as a VIP guest to that inauguration his white jailer. And a few months later, he invited to lunch in the presidency the man who was the prosecutor in the trial where he and his colleagues were sentenced to life imprisonment. He has become an icon to the world of forgiveness and reconciliation. He is revered in the world as a statesman standing head and shoulders above all political leaders today in moral stature. But he is the spectacular example. There were others, so-called ordinary people. There are no ordinary people in my theology. For everyone is a VSP, a very special person. You are a VSP. You are a very special person. And you ought to know that. I'd like to hear you say, I am a VSP. Come on, 1, 2. Come on. Look here. I'm the conductor. And you keep to time. I am a VSP. Until I say stop. 1, 2, 3. I am a very special person. I want you to take that away with you from here. And so we could hear stories such as this one. A white woman was very badly injured in a hand grenade attack by one of the liberation movements. She came to tell us a story. She told us how many of her friends were killed during that raid. And she herself was so badly injured, she went into ICU for a long time. She came out, she was still so badly wounded. Her children had to bathe her, had to clothe her, had to feed her. And she said, I can't walk through the security checkpoint at an airport because I've still got shrapnel in me. And all kinds of alarms would go off. And she said of the experience that left her in this condition, it has enriched my life. Enriched my life, she said. And I'd like to meet the perpetrator I'd like to meet him in a spirit of forgiveness. I'd like to forgive him. And then she added, quite mind-bogglingly, I hope he forgives me. The security police ambushed 4 African National Congress activists. Their mutilated bodies were found in their burned-out car. The families of these 4 came to tell their story. And one in their party was a teenage girl. She told of how the police were still harassing herself, her mother, and her siblings. After she finished her story, I asked her, would you be willing to forgive people who have done this to your father and are treating you in this fashion? We were meeting in a large hall. You could hear the proverbial pin drop as this young person spoke with a dignity beyond her years. Yes, we want to forgive. We just want to know whom to forgive. Many, many times, sitting in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and having stories of that kind, I used to say, the only appropriate response, dear friends, is for us to take off our shoes. Because like Moses, we are standing on holy ground. Our country, miraculously, has moved away from the path of reprisal, retribution, revenge. Just look at God's world today. Northern Ireland, the Middle East, Kosovo, Sri Lanka, Sierra Leone, almost everywhere. It is people at each other's throats, ready to destroy one another. And there is no hope, there is no future. There is no future without forgiveness. For you and I know that even in a relationship, a husband and wife, if they quarrel, and one of them doesn't utter those very difficult words in any language, I'm sorry, and there is forgiveness, then that relationship is doomed. There is no future. There is a crying need in the world today, dear friends, for forgiveness and reconciliation. Just think of Columbine. Just think of the situation between the races in this country. Just think, just look around. And God says, hey, you know something? I have no one except you, and you, and you, and you, to be my partner, to help to bring healing, to help to bring forgiveness, to help to bring reconciliation in a world that is torn apart. God says, you know, I love you. I love you. I love you. You are special to me. You are precious to me. I love you not because you are good. I love you not because you are beautiful. I love you not because you are successful. Hey, I love you. Full stop. I love you. Is a response to that love. You may become good because I love you. And my love, my love is one that will not change. My love is one that will not let you go. My love is one that is ready to leave 99 perfectly well-behaved sheep to look not for the good sheep, and not for a lamb. I mean, the people who tell this story or paint pictures, and you see them painting the pictures of the good shepherd, and they show us the good shepherd carrying a nice fluffy little lamb. Fluffy little lambs don't usually stray from their mummies. The sheep that strays is that obstreperous old ram, the troublesome one. And the love of God is extraordinary. This is the point of the story. That God has a soft spot for sinners. And God is prepared to leave the good ones to go and look for the troublesome one. And God says, hey, you are my partner. Please, please be my partner. And don't say, oh, I'm too young. Because remember that is what the prophet Jeremiah said. God said, Jeremiah, and Jeremiah said, yeah, I'd like to become my prophet. And Jeremiah said, what? God, you can't be serious. And God says, And Jeremiah says, I'm young. And God says something quite extraordinary. He says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. I knew you before you existed. That is to say, you are not an accident. You are not an afterthought. You are not an accident. You are not an afterthought. You are part of God's plan from all eternity. God knew there was going to be a Jane, a Peter, a David, a you. God knew that there was going to be a you, and that you have a special part from all eternity in God's plan. No one is an accident. Some of us might look like accidents, but no one is an accident. Can you take that away from here too? I am God's partner. I am God's collaborator. I am God's fellow worker. And God says, I have a dream. Like Martin Luther King Jr., I too have a dream, says God. I have a dream of a new kind of world. A world where there is peace. A world where there is compassion and caring and gentleness. have a dream of a new kind of world where there is forgiveness and reconciliation, where there is caring and sharing. And I have no one except you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, to be those who help me to realize my dream. And so go away from here saying, I am a VSP. I am a very special person. Go away from here saying, I am God's partner. I am God's fellow worker. And together with God, we are going to change this world. We're going to make this world a different kind of world. Together with God, we're going to make this place hospitable to goodness. We're going to make it hospitable to love. It's going to be hospitable to caring and compassion. Because God says, there's a lovely African story of the farmer who had a strange-looking chicken in his backyard. It behaved like chickens. It went about picking at grubs. It didn't know there was a sky and a sun. And one day a clever man came along and he said to the farmer, no. That's no chicken, man. And the farmer said, no, nonsense, that's a chicken. It behaves like a chicken. And the man said, no, man, that's an eagle. And the farmer said, follow me. And the man said, give it to me. Give it to me. And the farmer gave him a strange-looking chicken. And he took the strange-looking chicken. And he went to the top of a high mountain. And he waited for the sunrise. And as the sun emerged, this man turned the strange-looking chicken towards the sun and said, fly, eagle, fly. And the strange-looking bird shook itself, spread out its pinions, and lifted off. And it soared and soared. It flew higher and higher towards the sun. God is saying to you and to you and to you and to you and to all of us, hey, you're no chicken. You're an eagle. Fly, eagle, fly. And God wants us to shake ourselves. And God wants us to shake ourselves, to stretch out our opinions, and to lift off, and to soar higher and higher. For we are those who are made for goodness, for laughter, for joy, for caring, for compassion, for peace, for reconciliation. Fly, eagle, fly. Thank you.
God